Oh my freaking god, Climatiqueen, the first episode of Miraculous Season 6 is finally out, and I know I'm a bit late to the episode release, but schoolwork and other stuff has gone into the way. Whatever though, because we are finally here, where I'm going to briefly analyze the episode and then see how it fits into the rest of the season. So, let's start. Since I don't want this video to drag out like my Revelator video did, I'm mainly going to address the two main plots of this episode, Adrien and Aurora. Starting with Adrien. From the get-go, we see Adrien struggling with who he is as a person now that his father has died, and Adrien no longer has to do any of his duties as Gabriel's son, which I can't tell if this is a blessing or a curse for Adrien. Since I do have a couple critiques for this episode, I do want to start with saying how it is very good at showing Adrien's struggles with himself. His dad was terrible, yet he still loved him somehow and still does, and now that his dad has no control over his life because he's dead, he doesn't know what to do with it. And I'm not trying to look into anything too far, but this really fleshes out Adrien as a character, since in the next couple episodes his personality is kind of flat, or at least not brought forward much. Anyway, Adrien talks to Marinette as usual about his struggles with a lack of things to do, so a large segment of the episode is shown of them trying things Marinette is good at and enjoys doing, and then things Adrien is better at. However, he isn't really interested or passionate towards any of the things. On Aurora's side of things, she is trying to become popular on social media, which isn't very easy considering her passion that she shows isn't shared by many people, the passion being meteorology. So when Chloe puts out a message in her community saying that she's beginning a follower challenge and whoever can get the most followers by the end gets a wish granted by her, Aurora jumps in. It's perfect. A way to become popular while also getting something she really wants, a signed copy of a book from this astrology lady. The problem is that the only way Aurora can get popular is by doing boring things everybody else is doing on social media, and similar with Revelator, this seems to be Thomas Astruck, or Zag at least, commenting on social media and how to become popular you have to be just like everyone else and pray the algorithm picks you out of the hundreds. My point is, cool, relevant subplot, Zag. Skipping ahead, Aurora decides to use the Vincent formula and profit off of pretending Marinette and Adrien are in a terrible relationship, which is so funny because not one couple in high school anywhere looks how Marinette and Adrien look, like they are pure. But Aurora succeeds and gets pretty far, but she's not far enough, and that's when we meet this new character, Aglaé, or Aglaé. I actually have no idea how to spell that, but I know how to say it, kind of. And Aglaé is unlike ever seen before in high school, because she is emo. No, I'm just kidding. I kinda love Aglaé, and I know that her akumatization will either be terribly underdone or so gut-wrenchingly insane I have to exit the room like how I did with Ephemeral. That is, if she is akumatized, because only now do I realize that she's kinda sketchy. She's so pure that she uses sage to ward off akumas, and is so nice that she'll do anything for Aurora, including going to Marinette's friend group specifically to look for her. Honestly, who knows though, this character is sadly not seen too much in this episode. Or at least not throughout the season. Aurora realizes that she won't be able to make it to the top in time and is akumatized into Climatiqueen, which is stormy weather but with the same powers as Daddy Cop, being able to make people adore her and follow her. Which they do, and she wins the competition of Chloe's, yet she continues fighting the heroes, and this is where Adrien realizes that being a hero is one of his passions, and he is so happy doing it. He and Ladybug take down Climatiqueen, and afterwards Aurora realizes that faking herself for views was stupid, and she turns to more meteorology content, which is super cool for her, especially because she's also getting views for it, which... cool. We then see the Adrien plot wrap up with Adrien deciding to walk home instead of going with Marinette. Marinette realizes that she can't control Adrien, he is his own person, and he deserves to figure out his hobbies since their whole hobby search was a failure. Adrien goes for a run, thinking it all out, and that's when he meets Sublime, and I will say this is the absolute perfect transition into Sublimation 2 episodes later, where Marinette starts obsessing over Sublime and Adrien's friend group. And besides a teeny chrysalis peak, that's the end of the episode. I've already talked about the main things, but there's a couple things I want to talk about specifically. First, Chloe. We've seen Chloe briefly in other episodes this season, but this is the first episode where she actually plays a large part since she began Aurora's stress and didn't bother to take back the offer when Aurora was akumatized. This just shows how Chloe really doesn't care what gets in her way, because no matter what, she is famous and rich, and it just makes me curious at how we'll see her character unfold this season. Next, we have Marinette. In my Marinette might be akumatized video, which you should totally go watch after this one, I mentioned how Marinette has been slowly getting better as a person and maturing more, making her an easy target for Chrysalis. Well, we see the beginning of Marinette's restarted character arc in this first episode, where she begins with letting free one of the people closest to her, Adrien. And we see this specific quality expanded upon in Sublimation, with Marinette reconciling with Sublime. This specific part just makes me wonder if Chrysalis plans on, or already is, taking advantage of Marinette's rising maturity to sneak her way back into everyone's friendships as a different person. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the timeline. This timeline is insanely confusing, especially now knowing that in the Illustrator, when Alia and Nino are interviewing Miss Bustier about her previous akumatization, this isn't Climatiqueen, since Aurora's Climatiqueen, likely meaning that Miss Bustier will be akumatized yet again sometime in the future of the season, and it will mess up the entire season timeline as well. So for now, it seems like Climatiqueen and Sublimation come before the Illustrator, as does whatever episode Miss Bustier will get akumatized in. That's about it though. I hope you enjoyed, and I'd love it if you subscribed and maybe liked and maybe even commented below your own opinions, since I'm really curious about your thoughts on all this and this episode in general. Personally, I love it, and I did not give it enough credit in this video, so just know that this is my favorite episode of the season so far. It was so good. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already. Love you all.